Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we look forward to Donkey Kong getting his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Eyes of Ganon are everywhere. Be careful. So the Nintendo Cartridge Society is careful with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as I am always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, and then on Thursday, we are building our own bonanzas. So Donkey Kong, hit the road. We're already sick of you, buddy. Mark, how's it going?
It's going great. I'm overdue for a haircut.
Yes.
By probably like a week or so. And so I
don't know if you could feel my eyes drift up to your to your hair when you said that.
I mean, in some ways I take that as a reassurance that it's not so obvious that I'm overdue for a haircut. I'm at the point where I'm using like my beard trimmer to make small adjustments, like tweaks and tucks to try to hide the fact that because I'm like graying quite a bit on the side.
Yes,
which
it's a little bit like the Mr. Fantastic graying, right? Like
a little bit.
When Reed Richards gets a
little
older,
bit,
yeah.
But that makes it very wiry, which means as it gets longer, it just starts like standing out, more and more, like
harder
literally,
to tame,
you know, like standing away from my head. So yeah, it's a precarious time, is what I'm saying.
Right. Yes. Well, I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Do you have an appointment to get
No,
your
I
hair?
have no plans. Here's the other part.
Yeah.
I'm extremely lazy.
Right.
And I hate going to get my hair cut.
Mark,
so all of
so
these,
do I. I hate it so much.
This like confluence.
Is it just a generalized like you have a task to do and you don't want to do the task, or are there specific elements of the task that you don't like?
I don't. There is something about getting a haircut that I just find really unpleasant, and I think. And the person I go see, like, I like him. We get along fine. It's easy to make conversation for the half hour, 45 minutes or whatever that he's cutting my hair. He always trims my eyebrows, which I love.
That's nice.
But I think it's because there's always a little bit of risk.
Sure, that you're gonna come out of it worse than you went in. See, for me, there's something about. I really don't like going to a place where I pay someone to pay attention to me for an hour. That bugs me. And so I hate like having the spotlight on me in that way, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Not that they're like expecting me to perform.
Right.
That would almost be better.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Maybe you could find somebody who'd be willing to pay you and then you just like Venmo them a week later. Like return it a week later. Because maybe psychologically that'll be
right.
enough.
I hear what you're saying. That becomes then its own performance. I don't know that I like that. If you would like to support us in our many haircut adventures, you can head on over to patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society, where if you are supporting us at the 8-bit or 16-bit levels, you get access to our once, sometimes twice a month episodes of miniseries like NCS at the Movies.
Yeah, At the Movies just kicked off. We just released over the weekend an episode, a close to 3-hour episode.
I don't know.
Of us and special guest Ryan Mogi. Talking about James Gunn's Superman
2025.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Close parentheses. And we'll be talking, like you mentioned, for July, we are doing 2 episodes, and we will be talking about Fantastic Four.
Yeah, and I already planted the seed of your graying like Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah,
so
that's
there
right.
we go. So check that out if it is of interest to you. Also, we have our old miniseries of NCS Arcade, NCS Goes Broadway, NCS our Detective Club, all up there for if you are contributing at the 8 or 16-bit levels. If you are in there at the 4-bit or free levels, great, thank you. We appreciate that. There's content coming to you on those as well. So check it out if it's of interest to you. Also, you should be in our Discord if you're not. Email us at nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com and we'll send you an invitation. You can hop in there and talk about stuff with other people who are listening to this show. And me and Mark, too. We're also in there.
Yep, we're in there.
Mark, we've got a little debug from last week.
Itty bitty.
Itty bitty debug. Virtual Boy in the Discord corrected us on we couldn't remember if it was VRR or VSS, the like upscaling thing that the Switch 2 can do. And it was VRR, standing, of course, for variable refresh rate, which is less to do with resolution and more to do with rate of frames being displayed.
Yeah, keeping a stable frame rate.
Right.
So thank you, Virtual Boy, for correcting us. And yeah, VRR, it makes sense.
Yes.
But I couldn't grab it in the moment.
Right. And the thing that we were the reason we were talking about it is that the Switch 2 does it, but it is
only in handheld mode.
Only in handheld mode.
Right. And it was reported that initially, like, Nintendo of America had it on its website that it could do it docked, and then that was scrubbed. But then it seems like the Switch 2 dock is capable of doing it, but it's turned off right now.
It's told not to. Yes, exactly. So, just like, remember when they turned on like Bluetooth headphone connections on Switch 1 and it was like, wait, how are you able to do that?
Right.
That's I guess they have some of the technology built in, but until they're like confident in its ability to perform or something.
I remember reading speculation that maybe it was a certain brand of TVs or something like that they couldn't get it working with. Because I can't get HDR to work on my TV.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Switch 2 just does not recognize that my TV is capable of HDR. I don't know why.
There's some like setting that you can futz with. Here's the thing. I own Nintendo consoles, so I don't have to futz with settings.
Right.
So, like, if I hit a roadblock with something, I'm like, well, I can't do it.
Well, and the other thing is, like,
You play in handheld a lot, right?
I play in handheld a lot, and I honestly can't tell the difference. Like, there's a lot of the visual stuff that I just don't clock. Like, I just don't care about it.
I think you can tell the difference. I think when you're not forced to tell the difference, it doesn't matter.
That's true. That's probably a better way of putting it.
Because like when I've gone back and forth between like playing games with HDR and not, like on the PlayStation 5 or whatever, like I can immediately perceive like, oh, these colors are richer, the lights are lighter, the darks are darker, and it means something for the like 30 seconds that I first started up something that has the HDR.
No, you're right. That's a much better way of putting it. Yeah. It's like I can tell the difference between going 60 frames per second in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and then 30 frames per second when you're playing in multiplayer.
Right.
Like there is a difference.
There's a difference.
It just doesn't bother me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, Mark, let's get into what we've been playing this week. I think we're probably both just in like a pre-Donkey Kong Bonanza like holding pattern right now.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I'm continuing to play Wind Waker on like Nintendo Classics. Is that what it's called? And NSO? What are we?
I think it's been rebranded as Nintendo Classics or Nintendo Classic Libraries. Nintendo Classics.
I think it's Nintendo Classics. But yeah, I'm playing Wind Waker on the Switch too. It's the GameCube version. And I'm learning to love the move the camera behind Link by pressing L.
Sure, yes.
Instead of messing with the camera, like the free camera, like trying to use the second analog stick to do that.
Because it's just not that free.
It's just not that free, and it's not very intuitive, so I am just like jamming that L button all the time. To get the camera to swing behind him.
And you still haven't reversed the directions.
No, but
on
it's
the
been
C-stick.
but it's been fine. I think I've like gotten into it enough this week that part doesn't bother me anymore. But it was making me think about, because there are still some like things that are irritating about playing through the game, and it got me thinking. My initial premise was maybe 2D games have aged better, generally speaking. There are always exceptions than 3D games have. And I was like, toying around with that for a while, but I don't actually know that that's true. Like, I think 2D games, like from the NES era, generally speaking, have probably also aged horribly. Like, it's probably just like rare examples from
Yeah.
both 2D and 3D
that persist and
that,
are still good.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing about that is that I feel like Zelda is frequently an example where you're like this, like Link to the Past is still playable in 2025.
Right.
And like I think that like Ocarina of Time still very playable in 2025.
Yeah, I wonder, going back to that
Mm.
Nintendo 64 version, how much I would feel that way. It's been a long time since I played the Nintendo 64 version of Ocarina of Time.
You know, I played through the like the young Link part of it maybe like a year or two ago, just on Nintendo Classics, NSO at the time. And I remember it like working really well and like feeling pretty good.
Okay.
But you know, who knows? If I revisit it now, I'm a different man now than I was 2 years ago or whatever. So, who genuinely, who knows?
But
So how far are you in Wind Waker now?
I just finished Dragon Roost Island.
Okay,
so yeah. So really
that's
just like
the
the
first
first
dungeon?
temple.
Yeah.
First dungeon. And I suspect that when Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out, I'll basically drop this, at least for now. I don't know that I have the fortitude to make it to the end of the game.
Right.
With like the Triforce quest and all that kind of stuff. I think that would drive me crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to really be in love with it or able to do something else while you're sailing across the Great Sea. I'm still playing Breath of the Wild and still using Zelda notes and having a great time doing it. I just this afternoon, before coming over to record with you, Mark, defeated the fourth and final Divine Beast.
Oh, nice.
So I'm obviously I would like to put this down before Bonanza comes out. So like I'm at a point now where, and obviously you can always do this, but I'm at a point now where I could just go and fight Ganon. I think there are a couple other things I want to do first. A couple like armor sets I want to upgrade. I want to do the last of the labyrinths. So I've got the full set of barbarian armor to go into that last fight and into Hyrule Castle. But you know, I'm also like you know, I had such as soon as like I was messing around with Zelda notes, I was like, maybe I want to get like all the shrines. I've never done that before. And that still sounds like in the long run like an appealing thing, but I just know that like if Bonanza is any good at all, it's gonna like devour my attention and my gaming time. And like going back to Breath of the Wild, it's got such a bizarre control scheme, right? Like having that jump button right at the top of, you know, on the X button is so bizarre. And the various buttons you need to push and hold in order to like draw a bow and like
select the arrow and switch between bows. I 100% know what you mean. Like when the Champions Ballad DLC came out,
right?
And I returned to Breath of the Wild, and it had only been like 6 months or something.
Right, it had not been long. Yes,
I had to completely relearn how to control. So yeah, I agree. Breath of the Wild is not one that you can just intuitively jump in and out of.
Jump back into. Exactly. So I don't know. I feel like this may be the end. And you know, the thing about Breath of the Wild is that I think beating Ganon is a good way to break the spell of the game, right? Where you're just like, and now I'm done. I can walk away. So that'll probably happen sometime this week. But you and I have plans tomorrow evening, and then on Wednesday we record a podcast, and then on Thursday the game comes out. So I honestly don't know when I'm going to do this.
How have you been handling shrines? Like, are you at this point just cruising past them? Are you doing them when you encounter them?
Well, I do them when I encounter them.
Yeah.
I mean, I always like doing shrines. I think I've done 80 shrines.
Oh,
at this point.
that's a good amount.
Yeah, so like it's over half. It's probably about the same number that I did on my original playthrough. I think I maybe got a little bit closer to 100. Originally, there's 120 in there. I'm collecting more Korok seeds this time. Like I know that for sure. And a lot of that, again, is thanks to the Zelda Notes app, which has been super helpful for navigating to these things.
So how is the Champions Ballad presented in this? Could you do it at any time? Do you have to wait until
Champions Ballad has to happen after you've quieted all 4 Divine Beasts.
Oh, okay.
So I just, and then like as soon as you fast travel anywhere, then you get this like, Link, blah 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 blah.
Got it.
Zelda setting up the Champions Ballad, which was it was very neat to have both that and the Trial of the Master Sword just like present in the game from like the middle of them. When I played Breath of the Wild originally, those things didn't exist, so those were both beats where I was revisiting the game. And so now, like, when I got the Master Sword, immediately it was like you can put the sword back in and try and unlock
Oh,
its
interesting.
ultimate power. So I did one level of that, and then was like, cool, great. Now my sword is like base level of 40 attack instead of 30. Cool. And it's been nice to just have like a slightly stronger Master Sword. That can kind of go toe to toe with like most normal weapons or most like powerful weapons you pick up at that point in the game. Um, but yeah. So having a great time with Breath of the Wild. I'm not looking forward to putting it down because it's still just like an absolutely killer game. But playing it now for the second time, I am a little bit aware of the like time wasty element of it. But it's also been like soothing, so I like that.
When I got my Switch 2 and like turned on Breath of the Wild and did the Great Plateau and started running around a little bit, I was you, kind of like surprised. I had forgotten that the ability to make ice pillars like was
Yes.
one of the core abilities that you get in the game, and that seems so funny to me now because it's just not that useful.
It truly is not that useful, especially and like magnesis and the bombs and stasis. They're all like of pretty limited use, especially when you compare them to like Ultra Hand.
Right, right.
Ultra Hand is like grab any object and manipulate it any way you want. Is such a like game changer in Tears of the Kingdom. That like it really did, like I had to rewire my brain to be like, oh yeah, you cannot manipulate everything absolutely,
And I
like
can't
you
just
could in
like
Tears.
jump through the ceiling to get out of this cave.
I can't just do that. I
Yeah.
can't fuse things to my weapons. I gotta like find stuff. Yeah, it's a real trip going back to that game. I also want to mention that I'm obviously continuing to play Mario Kart World, but I got last Wednesday evening after me and Greg finished recording. I got online and did a little game chat and a little online Mario Karting with friends of the show, Connor McCabe and Matt Apodaca. And we just had a great time doing some like Grand Prix and then some knockout tours and just sort of like chatting. And Matt has the camera like I do. And so like we could see each other. Connor was trying to get like a different USB camera to work, but it wasn't for whatever reason. But we could still like hear him. We could hear his girlfriend, like and we were all playing. Sarah was playing with us. It was great. It was just like a really fun time.
How does it affect performance, or does it?
So it shrinks your screen a little bit, right? Like it by necessity because it has to have this border so that you can see like your friends' screens on the bottom, and like your friends' screens do like it's at like 5 frames per second or something. Like it's really slow when you're sharing gameplay. But if you're just sharing the footage, like the camera footage, it's pretty good. But I didn't notice any hit to our performance like locally, other than the screen size being a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Which I think would be a problem if you were doing it in like handheld or tabletop mode or something. But on a big TV, it was fine. And yeah, just fun to. That's Sarah and I will go online sometimes to do knockout tours online, which is chaos and horrible. And have you ever done it?
No,
You should do it. It's really fun.
I don't get online with Mario Kart very much because I just get destroyed.
Yeah, but here's the thing with Knockout Tour is everyone gets destroyed. It is like a genuine like chaos slot machine where it's just like you can every time that you go through like an item box field, like 20 people are going to get like game ruining items, and so it's just super fun. We do that with randos, but it was very nice to just like be able to chat and like play Mario Kart. I'm not saying anything revolutionary here. It's fun to play games with friends. And this did a pretty good job of replicating the experience of hanging out on the couch playing games together. So
that's cool because that's something that Nintendo's been missing with their systems.
Well, and I wonder like Mario Kart World is like an obvious application for that. And there will be others, right? If I have to imagine that Jamboree is also gonna, maybe not actually. Now that we're talking about it, Super Mario Party Jamboree, are those like new modes gonna be like online
Oh yeah,
or
that's interesting. I assumed they would be, but
but
I
maybe
don't know
not?
why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll discover more of that as we get closer, I'm sure, and as we maybe get a Nintendo Direct about it. We don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe.
We'll talk about it later, I guess. All right. So, Mark, that's what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing, what we will be playing next week.
Well, first, let's check in on Nintendo Music.
Good.
And yesterday, Nintendo updated it with the soundtrack from Mario Kart 64.
How many Mario Kart games is that now?
All right, the 7 is on there.
Uh-huh.
8 is on there.
8 Deluxe is on there. Is the
Is Mario Kart DS on there?
I don't know.
I think maybe it's just those 4 now.
Okay. But that's like
3
half
now?
the series.
3?
3, 4? Hold on.
Are you doing a search for Mario Kart?
That's a good idea, but no. Okay, so Mario Kart 8 Deluxe,
Okay.
yes, that's on there.
Uh-huh.
As is Mario Kart 8.
Okay.
So I don't know if we want to count those as separate. Mario Kart 7, yes. Wii is not on there. DS is not on there. 64 is obviously, and Super Mario Kart.
Okay, so 4/5 if you count 8 and 8 Deluxe as 2 separate games. So lots of Mario Kart.
Lots of Mario Kart on there.
And then on today, Dungeons and Dragons Neverwinter Nights 2 Enhanced Edition is released on the Switch.
What type of game is Neverwinter Nights?
It's an RPG.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
like a first person kind of?
No, it's like an isometric,
okay.
like kind of old school PC RPG. Obsidian. Oh, what was the? Okay, actually, I'm not even gonna reach for it because it's gonna be so far gone. But there was maybe 10 or so Pillars of Eternity.
Okay, yes.
Pillars of Eternity was kind of like a throwback to Neverwinter Nights, and I've never played any of these games, but I've only ever heard great things about them. But it's just up against Thursday's release, which is Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Right.
So what are you gonna do?
You're gonna play Donkey Kong Bonanza.
I'm gonna play Donkey Kong Bonanza. Also releasing on Thursday, the Donkey Kong and Pauline amiibo released. You got your pre-order in?
Oh yeah, yes. You know I do. I'm gonna go pick it up first thing Thursday morning. I'm very excited.
And then on Friday, Shadow Labyrinth is released, and this is the Pac-Man spin-off? I don't really know what you would call it.
Gritty Pac-Man. Here's the thing. Is that it seems like it is both a like a lot of homages to Pac-Man, but to other Bandai Namco games, like history of like classic arcade games. That kind of stuff is showing up in like other trailers and like game footage. So I'm really curious to know if there's like a good game behind this thing,
right?
Or if it's just like,
hey, isn't it so weird that there's this Pac-Man thing?
And like, fair play to them. Like, yes, it is weird. I am interested. You got my attention.
Do you know the like Great Park in Irvine? They have a Pac-Man like celebration exhibit thing going on.
Oh,
because Bandai Namco's U.S. headquarters are, I think, in Irvine.
Oh, should we go?
Maybe.
I think we should go.
Yeah.
We should do a Pac-Man episode. We've never talked about
We've
Pac-Man.
never talked about Pac-Man.
And we never will.
But yeah, that's the releases. I mean, really, it's Donkey Kong Bonanza's week.
Right, yes. Although I do just want to note that like they're selling versions of Shadow Labyrinth for both Switch and Switch 2, but the physical version of Shadow Labyrinth on Switch is like looks like the game is on the card. And as for Switch 2, it's just the code in the box.
I think it's that, it's
the key card thing.
Well, yeah, and I think it's because, I don't even know if it's the key card. I think it might just be a code in the box, to download.
Enough, yeah.
And I think it's the difference between, cheap 6 gigabit or whatever, Switch carts versus the smallest, Switch 2 cart.
Right, which is like expensive for publishers to buy, and therefore makes the games, or would make the games more expensive. So another just like kind of weird echo of like what's going on with the Switch 2 third-party releases. Okay, well, those are the new releases. Mark, let's close this out. Which brings us to a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of the show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So for the duration of one performance of 433, Mark and I'll talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, today we are taking a topic suggested to us by Matt. Thank you, Matt, for sending in. Matt asked us to rank the lightsaber colors.
Okay.
So first, I think we need to make a list of lightsaber colors and just like shout out our immediate like associations with them. Let's start with blue.
Right.
That's like the lightsaber that Anakin passed on to Luke, and that Luke wields for the first for episodes 4 and 5.
Yes, and then green.
Right,
which
yes.
is the lightsaber that when Luke creates his own lightsaber for Return of the Jedi, it is green.
Right, and those are kind of like the two base good guy lightsaber colors. Let's just throw red on there as well, because we know that we'll have to talk about red.
Yep.
But I sort of wish that I had... For me, the Star Wars movies like are... The original Star Wars trilogy is like sort of primordial movie stuff where like I don't really remember a time before seeing all three of those movies. So I wish I could have been surprised the first time he like flips open a green lightsaber, because that would have been like there would have been no precedent for that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's interesting. I've never thought about that before, because
Obi-Wan's is also blue.
Right.
So like, yeah,
I guess that would have been a big reveal at the time.
It would have been mind-blowing.
There can be green ones?
There can be green ones,
yeah.
Yes. And like we don't see another, and then obviously red, obvious immediate association is with Darth Vader, very cool. And then like episode 1, Darth Maul, all the bad guys, everyone has a red lightsaber. It's incredible. It's an incredibly cool color. Unfortunately, evil. So, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
And then I think the next like novel lightsaber color we get is in episode 2, Attack of the Clones, when Mace Windu ignites his lightsaber for the first time.
Oh, is that not in Phantom Menace? I guess it wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be, right, because he's just like on the Jedi Council. We talked about this actually a couple months ago when Phantom Menace, like Jedi Power Battles or whatever it's called, came out, because Mace Windu is a playable character in that game. And it was before he had ignited his lightsaber in the movies. So they gave him a blue lightsaber.
I mean, that makes sense.
It wasn't like canon yet that he had a purple lightsaber.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And that's crazy to me that it happened in Attack of the Clones, but that makes sense. That totally makes sense. So, let's see. What other lightsaber colors are there?
Well,
canonically.
So, I mean, Rey has a like yellow or white lightsaber at the end of Rise of Skywalker.
That's right. I'm going to put yellow.
Okay. But there are other Jedi, especially in like the High Republic era, that have yellow / like white lightsabers. And then of course there's the dark saber.
The dark saber, yes.
So I don't know if that's a color necessarily,
or
but
like the absence of color.
Yeah, it's sort of like a black hole lightsaber.
Yeah.
Man, the dark saber was so cool until the Mandalorian like totally messed it up. And I think that's largely it. Like, I think there are variations on these, like in the extended canon.
Does Ahsoka Tano? What is her name?
Ahsoka Tano. Yeah.
Does she wield white lightsabers?
She does now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In like the post.
Are we counting that
Rebels
as a separate color?
Yeah,
okay.
Sure. As separate from the yellow of Rey. Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
Okay.
And then there's no reason to. Oh no, you know what? Did you watch Ahsoka? I forget.
No.
So there are like two sort of like rogue Jedi Sith guys who have like sort of orange lightsabers that aren't truly red. That that are like kind of cool,
That's
but
interesting.
with their worth shouting out here, where they're like kind of bad guys.
Uh-huh.
But like still sort of Jedis, you know. And then like okay, so we don't want to say that like the red of Kylo Ren's lightsaber because it's like
Broken and
sloppy or
twisted
whatever.
and whatever.
It's
No,
still
I
just
think it's
red.
still red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is
When
good.
too much work bogs
Oops.
you down, Asana helps you handle it.
No free ads.
No free ads, Asana. But that was the end of the 433 recording. So.
Okay, well, should we do a quick ranking?
Sure.
What's your gut instinct?
My gut instinct is green number 1.
Oh, interesting, because of its...
Because I just imagine how surprising and fun it would have been. Do you think blue number 1?
I don't feel that strongly about it, so I'm happy for green to be number 1.
I think green, blue, red. Like that's 1, 2, 3.
I think it might be green, blue, red, purple.
Sure.
And then I think for me, dark saber.
I like the dark saber. It is cool.
Uh-huh.
And then probably white because I like Ahsoka.
And then yellow and orange at the bottom.
Right. Yeah, I think that's fair. All right. We were accompanied today by Andrew. Hold on. I obscured his name. Andrew Rangel. All right, Mark. Let's get into the news.
Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out this week, but previews for the game went live last week ahead of the game's release. And with those previews, some outlets also had a chance to interview some of the game's creative team, including producer Kenta Motokura, who was the director of Super Mario Odyssey, and director Kazuya Takahashi, who started at Nintendo in 2020. So those are...
Yeah, and is this the guy who's was a Square comes from Square Enix or not?
Oh, possibly. IGN doesn't call out like the company he worked for, but does mention that he had like experience with open world games.
Interesting. Okay.
Previously. Interesting to me that Kenta Motokura is now a producer and is not a director.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, Koizumi, who at one point directed Mario games, but now seems to be taking he's like the Mario equivalent of Aonuma for Zelda. He seems to be the overseer of all things Mario. And so it's like, okay, Motokura, who was director on Odyssey, is now a producer, and then now there's a new person who is hands-on as the director of this new game.
Can you remind me if you do remember? Did Fujibayashi also direct Tears of the Kingdom in addition to Breath of the Wild?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what's kind of interesting there is that it seems like they're being a little bit more, or from the outside, like who actually knows what's going on in there. But it seems like they're being a little bit more, have like a mentorship program within the like directing Mario games universe than in the directing Zelda games universe. Like Fujibayashi's had a stranglehold on that for a while. Like basically everything outside of the is it next level who makes the 3D Ocarina of Time, and what's the name of that company? Grezzo, thank you. And made the most recent Echoes of Wisdom, but like Fujibayashi's been like the director on basically every Zelda game for the last like decade.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah. I wonder if it's just because Miyamoto was involved with Mario longer than he was involved with Zelda?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. It's I like the idea that they seem to be spreading around the experience of like, now you direct, and Donkey Kong Bonanza is not a new Mario game, but like,
yeah, that's a good point. We actually, I guess, when a new 3D Mario game comes out, it will be interesting to see who is directing it.
Maybe that's Motokura is back on that one. Who knows?
So do you think? Well, okay, there's a couple of things we learned from their interview with IGN. So Yoshiaki Koizumi approached the team and asked them specifically to make a 3D Donkey Kong game.
Okay.
Like Mario Kart World, Bonanza started development on the Switch.
Which I gotta say is not surprising.
No.
Because like basically everything I think that's coming out this year probably started life on as a game on Switch, right?
Yeah, totally.
Obviously, Metroid Prime 4 started off as a game on Switch. Like maybe Kirby's Air Riders, if it comes out this year, um, maybe that was like the first like developed with Switch 2 in mind from the jump. But I mean, Sakurai, right, is such a like thinking ahead, working ahead kind of guy. Maybe not.
Yeah, who knows? And so just with those two data points there, are really like specifically okay, the fact that the director Takahashi didn't start at Nintendo until 2020. Super Mario Odyssey was released in 2017, and they had, like some
Yep.
some content updates like
Yeah, not
Luigi's,
really
like,
though. The Luigi's Balloon World was like the only real content update, and I think that was out by like January or February of the next year. So yeah.
So I guess yeah, maybe there will be more information. I'm assuming in the next couple of days Nintendo will release an Ask the Developer with
Sure.
these people, like an official one, and so maybe then we'll learn just a little bit more about the development of the game, but have to wonder what's going on in those 3 years before
Sure.
Takahashi joins Nintendo.
Yeah, like well, especially because like we are kind of under the impression that this team that was the Odyssey team, once they were done with Odyssey, like kind of just shifted over to working on this new project.
Yeah,
But you're not,
I don't
you're not
believe
as,
that.
as sure of that. Okay.
Well, just because I don't believe that we're gonna have to wait another 5 or so years until there's a 3D Mario. So I'm wondering if there are
Gotcha.
like 2 teams, like it's the same team as developed Odyssey, but there are actually like 2 teams in that Tokyo division
Right.
at least,
Right.
and one was working on this while another one has been working on new 3D
2D
Mario
yeah,
game.
3D Mario. Yeah, I mean, I think that's possible. Man, it would be great if they could come out of that, 7 or 8 year period and be like, we made 2 games and not we made 1 game in
Yeah.
8 years. So I hope you're right in that regard.
They were also asked by IGN about Pauline being specifically 13 years old, like why that age, and also how the game fits into the timeline of other Donkey Kong or Mario games, right? Like how does this relate to Odyssey? How does it relate to all this stuff?
Right.
And basically they declined to answer.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. They say they want players to think about it while playing the game, and they hope it like sparks interesting conversation, which to me leads for me to believe that there is no like answer in the game as to why all of this.
Right, because they're not saying like you'll find out when you
Uh-huh.
play Donkey Kong Bonanza. But is even that like too much of a spoiler for Nintendo to be like, oh,
You'll find out.
don't worry, there is an answer.
Uh-huh.
Right? Like,
It would be kind of cool if it like
sure.
if it does reveal itself.
It would be kind of cool if it reveals itself and like it's a compelling answer, but like the only way for it to work is for it to be essentially magic, right?
Right.
So like that's fine. That's an okay explanation. But like I don't know. I'm so much of the mind that like yeah, they're Looney Tunes. They're not like the characters don't have continuity. It's fine.
Totally.
And like yeah, let's just mix up the elements and like this time one of them will be a kid and like yeah, great, that's fine. Why is Daffy Duck in space? Like there's no continuity there with when he's like living on a farm or whatever. So yeah, totally works for me without an answer. It doesn't sound like they do have an answer, but maybe they do.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. And it also feels unlikely to me that there's like a secret document at Nintendo,
Right.
like a Zelda timeline that
Right.
is placing all of the Donkey Kong games on some greater timeline. Like you said, I just don't think it matters.
Yeah, and I don't think they think about it that way. But they do want us thinking about why she's 13.
Well, maybe they don't. Maybe that's also another one where they're like, we just...
No, but they said they wanted players to think about it while playing the game.
Well, yeah, in the same way that they want people to think about where it fits on the timeline of other Donkey Kong games.
Sure, right. Really, they just want you thinking about the game, right? Like whether it's thinking about how much fun you're having or thinking about a question that it poses.
Yeah, just like fun to speculate.
Yeah.
In not Donkey Kong Bonanza news,
Mm.
Nintendo has announced that they're ending the Switch Game Vouchers program. So on January 30th of next year, Nintendo Switch owners will not be able to purchase game vouchers anymore.
Yes.
So that'll be the last day that you can buy them.
And just as a reminder that the game voucher program was you spend $100, and that's good on 2 usually first-party Nintendo games that you can redeem them for 2 first-party Nintendo games. And the end result is that usually that'll save you $20 overall, right?
Right.
And that leading into the Switch 2, Nintendo had announced in some form or capacity that they were not going to be doing vouchers for Switch 2 games.
Right. Or that vouchers wouldn't be good for Switch 2 games.
That's right. And that they weren't like introducing a new program for Switch 2 vouchers. Vouchers, as you have written down here, expire within 12 months of when they're bought. So like you can get in a situation where you have screwed yourself by just forgetting that you have vouchers sitting there. And when a voucher expires, that's just $50 toast, right?
Yeah.
There's no getting that back.
And you have to be a Nintendo Switch Online subscriber in
Yes.
order to buy vouchers. So, a couple of, I guess, interesting things here. One is that this follows Nintendo ending the gold coins program.
Yes.
So, it used to be that if you bought games digitally through the eShop, you would get like 10% of the cost of the game back as gold coins that you could then use towards the purchase of a game in the future.
Right, and if you bought physical games, you could like enter the code to
I
redeem
always
it for
forgot
some
about
amount
that.
of.
I think it was like 5% or like
Yeah,
something like that.
it's significantly less than if you buy it digitally.
So that no longer exists, and so they're now ending the voucher program, giving I think a fair amount of notice.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
So the last time you'll be able to buy them is January 30th of next year. So there are 2 Nintendo Switch games that we know of for sure that are coming out next year.
Right, Rhythm Heaven and Tomodachi Life.
But I really feel like the benefit of the voucher program, especially now, to my mind anyways, is for people who bought a Switch in like the last couple of years and
Right.
now are going back and filling out their Switch library because you could know what games you're buying them for. Whereas I feel like
Right.
since I've been buying Nintendo first party games since 2017, when I'm buying vouchers, it's usually with the faith that in the future they're going to be, like
Yeah, but
games that I wanted to buy with it.
Sure, but we also don't like buy like 4 sets of vouchers at once. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, I hope Nintendo delivers in the next
No,
year.
it's true. It's true.
So like it's with even this year we know that Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon Legends ZA are both coming out on Switch 1, and that you can use vouchers to buy them and then spend the $10 to upgrade to Switch 2. Like that's a perfectly valid path for that. The one little wrinkle here and something just to keep in mind is that even if you like are trying to redeem a voucher for a game that you're pre-ordering, like Legends is available pre-order right now, that it has to release before your voucher expires for you to use it on that. So, if I have a voucher that's expiring October 1st, the game comes out on like the 16th or something. It's sometime in October. Even though I could place my pre-order for it now, that voucher won't work.
Right, until it actually like gets
yes.
charged or whatever
That's
closer
right.
to the game's release. That's interesting. I guess what I'm saying is I don't think that, on January 30th next year I'm going to buy another set of vouchers because I don't necessarily have faith that there are going to be Switch games that
Well,
I'll be
Rhythm
able to
Heaven
use
for
it
sure, is one that you're going to want to buy,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
And then like I guess like the Tomodachi Life, like that's a little bit more of like a question mark, but maybe by January 30th we will have a little bit more information about it, right? And
Right, or more information about other games that are targeted for the Switch
yeah,
that you could use them on.
yeah. Well, and it makes me wonder like how many more because like as far as first party Switch 2 exclusive games, right? Obviously we have Switch 2 Welcome Tour, and Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza. Later in the year, we're going to get Kirby's Air Riders. We're going to get the Age of Imprisonment, the Hyrule Warriors game, and anything else that's a Switch 2 exclusive?
No, I think that's everything that we know of right now.
So like there aren't that many. It
Or
seems to me.
Dragon Drive.
Yeah, Dragon Drive. It seems to me like they are largely like trying to like keep the Switch One like pretty active and like alive during this time. Um, so yeah, oh, I guess Splatoon Raiders
Oh,
at some
sure,
point next
yeah.
year. But that's just a Switch 2 game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all we know of right now. But yeah, I would guess that they'll announce more games that are coming to Switch that you could buy with vouchers. Is my guess.
Also, vouchers didn't launch until 2019, and in the US, they went away for a while
Yeah.
before they brought them back just a few years ago. So maybe we will see some Switch 2 program in a few years.
Yeah, I mean that's my thought and my hope that like while these rewards programs are going away, that something else will rise to replace it. Um, it's never been like a thing that I don't think anyway, something that's like changed my buying habits on Switch. Although I guess I probably did lean way more into digital because I was like, oh yeah, I can get these games for almost 20% less by picking them up with vouchers. And in the case of Tears of the Kingdom, it was $20 less.
Right.
It was huge.
And I think that was for sure the reason why this voucher program existed,
Yeah, right.
was to get people to buy games digitally.
Right. And now that people are just in the habit of doing that, and that's like the majority of purchases anyway, that what does it matter?
Yeah.
But I have to imagine that some other rewards program will come up to take its place.
I saw some people just talking about it online, like, oh, wouldn't it be interesting? Like, they weren't pretending to know anything. That, oh, if Nintendo introduced another tier of Nintendo Switch Online that was like an even higher tier, but part of that is some sort of
discounts on
rewards
stuff.
program.
Yeah, that's interesting.
According to
I don't know that I love that.
I mean, yeah, paying an additional fee to get
right.
like a discount. I guess it could work out for you. I mean, I don't know if Barnes and Noble still charges for their program, but there was a time where
you
it was like
discounts.
$20 a year or something like that. You signed up for it.
Well, and like GameStop's
for
program, they do that, and like if you have PlayStation Plus on various levels, you get discounts on stuff or like sales that are exclusive to PlayStation Plus subscribers. So like it wouldn't be the I think I was mostly responding to like it's a higher price point and like a new tier. Where I was like ugh. But I again just to drive home that like a regular Nintendo Switch Online subscription is $20 for a whole year, and the like more expensive version of that comes with the expansion pack and the GameCube library, Nintendo 64, Game Boy Advance, and Genesis is $50 a year, which is still way cheaper than any other service that you're paying a subscription for.
And I know that those prices are going up in Canada soon. If
are they?
If they haven't already, yeah. Nintendo announced that the pricing changes there. But it is surprising to me that it didn't change with the launch of the Switch 2. But I wonder if it will when GameChat becomes part of the paid
That's interesting
service. Because they kind of did that with the launch of the Switch, where Nintendo Switch Online was free for like a year or so, and then they started charging for it. But when they started charging for it was when they really started adding things to it.
Yes, that's true.
So I don't know. It is just surprising to me that the price has stayed stable as they've, even for expansion pack, as they've like added new stuff. So
yeah, I mean it's and not just added new stuff, but added a whole new library.
Right. It just feels inevitable to me that
that it will go up.
Yeah, that it's going to go up. According to IGN, Nintendo updated its game publishing guidelines in Asia at the beginning of June, reportedly in an effort to crack down on spam games flooding the eShop.
Hey, not a bad call.
So here are some of the...
In fact, a good call.
So here are some of the changes.
Also, sorry, I do just want to
jump in.
18 months after Nintendo Switch Online launched with the Switch, that they started charging for it with the release of the NES games.
Oh, sure, right, because
it
was
September of 2018.
Yeah, so Switch launched in March, NSO was free, and then started charging for it in September 2018.
Yes, right. 18 months later.
Sorry.
No,
yeah. So here are some of the changes that Nintendo has made to the publishing guidelines in Asia to supposedly, maybe crack down on spam games. Game bundles. In the first year after release, a game can have up to 5 bundles. After the first year, 1 additional bundle is allowed per year, up to a maximum of 8. This aims to prevent excessive bundle spam and discount flooding on the eShop.
Right, which is something that would happen a lot of times, where games would be continuously like re-released as like deluxe versions, definitive versions that are just like the same like gotcha dumb game.
Sensitive content restrictions prohibits content damaging to Nintendo's brand, like overly sexual content, discrimination, hate, exploitation.
You skipped sexualization of children
I did,
as well.
yeah. Instructions for criminal activity. Like, there's a note that Nintendo reserves the right to reject games and may apply rules regionally.
What's interesting about the and I know this is maybe playing a little bit bluer than when we normally do, but like the sexualization of children and overly sexual content, there are a fair number of like hentai games that like kind of appear, and especially like towards the top of like new release charts, because they're doing the same sort of like bundle nonsense. But if they can cut down on that content on the Switch like eShop, I think that goes a long way towards like making that thing just more family friendly, but also just like more friendly for a normal person like me trying to browse for games that have been released.
There's product description rules. Inaccurate descriptions of game content are prohibited. Describing features as under development when they won't be implemented is banned. Product page and naming. Changing a product's name without valid reason is prohibited. Developers can't alter product page information after it is live, and developers must notify Nintendo if distributing apps without game elements. So here's the thing, is that you look at this list and you're like, like,
why wasn't this
why was this not in place before? Are we sure? Like, what how would this necessarily combat spam? Because Nintendo can reject any game for any reason anyways.
Yeah, I mean that's
their
a fair point.
platform. And so it's like, are you telling me that before Nintendo put these guidelines in, that sexualization of children and overly sexual content was something that Nintendo was just like rubber stamping? It's like, no, of course not.
It was something they were rubber stamping because those games were on the eShop, right?
So that makes me think that the problem is more
in implementation
of policy than it is of the policy itself. Now, the game bundles one, maybe.
Sure.
Like, I could see maybe how that rule would be helpful. But IGN spoke to developers familiar with the changes, and the feedback was generally skeptical for the reasons we just talked about, where it's like, if Nintendo wanted to do something about this game, about the like e-slop issue, they could be more proactive about it. Also know that these changes are just in Asia for now.
Interesting.
And I guess would presumably affect a publisher in Asia's ability to publish on the US eShop as well. But these changes have, at least so far, not trickled down to like North American publishing agreement or anything.
Yeah, well then I wonder what the point is of like releasing these restrictions. Or I mean, I wonder if it's just like part of there's renewed interest in the platform because of the Switch 2 or whatever, and that they just have to like re-up what they're like the guidelines that they express to people who want to publish on the platform. Even if they have no intent of actually enforcing any of it, just like making someone click a box being like, I am not doing any of these 10 things you're telling me not to do, even if they are. But it would be nice to have it be a little bit more of like a walled garden. Like, I don't need the Nintendo eShop to be the Steam store, right?
Well, and I also wonder if like part of the problem is discoverability. Like, I personally don't have that big of a problem if like there's hentai games on there.
Pretending not to know how to pronounce it. Okay.
But like, if people like want to search for it, then and it's there and that's what they're interested in, like, great. But I think the problem is that, you're trying to find a cool new like general audience new release, and it's just buried under all of these like knockoff games. And
it's the same, like it is like the content pornography problem, right? That like if you just take all the content of whatever one like kind, all the movies, and you just put them all in one big bucket and mix them up, and you reach in, if you're not looking for pornography, it's likely you will find pornography.
Right.
Right. And like that's sort of what they're doing right now. And like, I guess, philosophically, I'm also not opposed to like a hentai game being available to play on Switch. That does, like, the existence of it doesn't bother me. The fact that like I have like that there's no way to not randomly encounter it while you're
Right.
browsing.
And it's not just those, it's like the like it's like Call of Warriors or whatever. You know what I
yes,
mean? Where it's
totally.
just like,
Right. I don't mean to exclusively target the like hentai games here.
yeah.
Because you're right that there are like so many of these like slop knockoff trying to drift off people like searching for real games and finding these awful like knockoffs, ripoffs.
And it feels like with the explosion of AI, it's just going to get worse and worse.
Totally,
and so,
yes.
I don't know if Nintendo is putting these in place as part of a broader effort to like be better about curation, then I think that's great.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see, especially as the Switch 2 continues to grow, what that actually ends up looking like.
Yeah. Well, yes, as the Switch 2 continues to grow. What's interesting is like it's all the same store, right? Whether you're accessing it
Right.
on Switch or Switch 2. So like that like the install base for that is already bigger than like
Right.
is already enormous.
But they made some changes to the eShop with
Yeah.
like around the Switch 2 launch.
That's true, right.
To try to kind of like downrank whatever, deprioritize some of that stuff. But people are going to find a way around it, or they're going to try to find a way around it.
Right.
And so I think that'll really be.
And when you say people, you mean publishers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that'll really be the test,
Right.
I think, as it continues on. Back in 2021, before the Super Mario Brothers movie was released, there were.
Can you remember those days?
Is it
before the Super Mario Brothers movie
Well,
released?
what's especially crazy is that because I went back to look like when were these rumors of a Donkey Kong animated movie from, and 2021 the movie the Super Mario Brothers movie didn't release until 2023.
Right.
So
yes.
that's like a pretty far back.
Yeah.
For all of this stuff. But back in 2021, there were rumors that a solo Donkey Kong animated movie was in the works. And it's been quiet on that front for a while. We haven't really heard anything since. And we have a sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie on deck for next year. But
possibly called Super Mario World.
Possibly. But a new joint copyright filing with the U.S. Copyright Office from Nintendo Studios, which is the division of Nintendo that was created to produce movies, and Universal Pictures, points to a DK movie still being in active development. The recorded date of the filing was June 6th, 2025, and is for, quote, Untitled Donkey Kong Project, motion picture.
Great. So we know that is still like in development, or at the very well, because it's an active like refiling of.
I think it's the first filing.
Oh,
of
okay,
it.
great.
Yeah. So yeah, it seems like a Donkey Kong movie is at least in the works.
So obviously we've only seen one Nintendo Pictures movie, right? And only one of their partnerships with Illumination at this point, just the Super Mario Brothers movie. And we know that there's a sequel coming out. We don't really have any idea of like, is it the same cast? Is it the same like designs? Like, that there was some sort of like buzz around the movie that was like, it's not necessarily a sequel, but another take on, like, there was some weird lange around it. Which, like, who knows? That may just be like, we're thinking about it differently and like telling a different story, or, who knows? Or just a way to not be like, yes, we're putting a 2 on the end of it and doing the same thing again. So like, I guess the question I'm winding up to is like, do you think that this will be like, if the next Mario movie is like following Mario and Luigi on like their other adventures, that this is like following that Donkey Kong from the Super Mario Brothers movie on his adventures?
Yeah.
Or is this like another take on it?
That's interesting.
Is Seth Rogen coming back?
Yeah.
Is Fred Armisen coming back as
Cranky Kong? Yes, I think yes.
You think yes?
I think it's going to be like a spin-off. But does it? Yeah, I guess. Huh.
Just like
Are they
that,
limited to like? Is it set
Right.
in a universe world where it exists with the Mushroom Kingdom?
right? Where it's like sort of in the Mushroom Kingdom and
Right.
like Kong Kingdom or whatever it is, the
It's
Jungle
all
Kingdom.
connected by a rainbow road.
Right, and it all kind of like looks the way that it looks in the Super Mario Brothers movie. Like, how much of that are they going to be beholden to? Just because that feel, we just talking about Donkey Kong game continuity and how there is none, and it's just like it feels like we are in an era of movie making where like that's less acceptable in movies.
Hmm.
But does Nintendo care about that? It sort of feels like Universal and DreamWorks will, right? Or
Yeah.
DreamWorks, not DreamWorks.
Illumination.
Illumination. Thank you.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, the same question of the Super Mario Brothers movie springs to mind for a Donkey Kong animated movie, which is what story is there to tell
What indeed?
about Donkey Kong?
Are we stealing his bananas?
Yes, are his bananas being stolen? Does King K. Rool exist in this movie?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
It's a like the story of Donkey Kong is somehow even thinner than the story of Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll. I mean, who knows, right? Like these things don't really need to have compelling stories. They just need to be chock full of references to the video game, and then play like 6 pop songs that don't fit in with them, and it'll make $1 billion. So I guess like, what does it matter?
I mean, I wonder if that will prove true, or I wonder if people will have gotten their fill by the time a sequel comes around. I don't know. We'll see.
Minecraft movie made $980 million.
But that was the first one.
That was the first. You're right. There is the thing of the first one, where it's like, well, we have to see it just to see what it is.
Right.
Only sort of working for Superman right now.
Only sort of working.
But yeah.
NBA 2K26 on Switch 2 will be the Gen 9 version of the game, according to the FAQ on the official website.
So Gen 9 being like the
PlayStation 5.
4. Oh, 5. Okay.
5, yeah. So this is the same as PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series console. Because there was some speculation that it'd be based on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One version of the game, like the Switch release. But no, it is in fact the same as the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series.
Cool.
So we'll see how it ends up running, but that's seems like good news for Switch 2 multi-platform releases.
Yeah, totally. Well, and like one of the things that sort of like typified Generation 9 is that especially like on the Xbox side, that they don't let publishers publish games that won't run on the Xbox Series S.
Right.
So like even though the X is the more powerful console, like the game has to be able to scale down to the less powerful version of the system, which I think that's still a little bit more powerful, I believe, than the Switch 2 is. But like if you've got that level of like variability and like the Switch 2 is a pretty hefty piece of hardware, that like it's all probably within the margin of error, and so they just like slide the sliders down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine the Series S is good news for the Switch 2.
Right.
Finally, Nintendo Direct speculation is not really our favorite pastime, but
we do also love doing it.
But I want to mention
Yes.
that noted Nintendo Direct date leaker Nate the Hate said on a recent episode of his podcast
Nate the Hate leaked the date?
that Nintendo is planning to direct for later this month after Donkey Kong Bonanza is released. He says he doesn't know any details beyond that, but speculates that it could be the last week in July before Nintendo's next financial earnings report on August 1st.
Yes, and before Gamescom, also in August, which is a big game convention in Germany.
Yes. Also, you have a note in here that we have a Pokemon Presents next Tuesday, July 22nd.
Yep.
And also, Nintendo traditionally had a Direct in June and another in September, right before the Tokyo Game Show. But with the Switch 2 launching in June, it seems like all bets are off as far as Nintendo
Yeah,
Direct
totally.
timing.
But like it does make sense that we would have another marketing beat, even if it's almost all stuff that we already know about. Because like Metroid Prime 4 doesn't have a release date yet. I'm sure they'd like to show off stuff from both Kirby and the Forgotten Land and Super Mario Party Jamboree before they are released. Although one of them is coming out in July, right? Going back to
Also,
this,
we know nothing at all about Kirby Air Ride.
Totally,
Or whatever it's
yes.
called.
Kirby Air Riders. Mario Party Jamboree comes out the 24th, so just the week after next.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, we will need to get more information. I guess Drag and Drive also comes out in August, and we don't haven't really seen anything new about it. Yeah, I believe this. I think especially with I don't know if we're gonna get some sort of like tease about the next gen of Pokemon with the Pokemon Presents, because I don't expect that until next year, right? But like they got to start either like dropping hints about where it's gonna take place or starters or whatever sometime.
Yeah, if they have a Direct in July, it really feels like all bets are off for the rest of the year, because
Right.
it probably wouldn't make sense to have a September Direct at that point.
Yeah.
But do you get one in October, or are we just, you're 6 months out from the next Nintendo Direct after one happens in July?
Right. And it could also be just like a Metroid Prime 4 Direct, right? Like a single game Direct.
That's true. I mean, we've had those recently. We had one for Bonanza, and
we had one for World.
Yeah.
So, for Mario Kart World. So, yeah, I think this could be anything. We also haven't had a Indie World showcase or like a partner showcase in a long time. I guess you could kind of argue that the Nintendo Direct the week before the Switch 2 Direct was like a little bit of a partner showcase, but they also revealed 2 first-party Nintendo games coming to Switch 1 in that presentation. So
yeah, and I guess the last Indie World showcase was the one that they doubled up on, right? Where it was like 2 presentations on the same day.
Oh yes, I think you're right. But when was that?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Here's the thing: for all of the good charts
March?
and spreadsheets that I have, What March?
I
You think it was this year?
I think it was the end of March. I think it was right before the. Oh no, that was the Nintendo Direct. That was just a regular Nintendo.
There was a regular Nintendo Direct a week before the Switch 2 Direct.
Wow, was the last Indie World showcase last year?
Yeah, I mean that's what my gut is telling me right now.
Wow. I don't think I can look it up fast enough
No.
before the show ends.
Mark, the show's ending. Let's get out of the news. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. If Mark finds this information, we will, of course, punch in with it. If you have not already joined our Discord, you should email us. I'll send you an invitation. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying thank you for listening.
I think it was August 2024.
So it's been a year.
Yeah, it was August 27, 2024 is the Indie World Showcase and a partner showcase on the same day.
Yeah, right. Okay. Thanks for listening.